Some call him the granddaddy of veganism. Some call him the most controversial figure in the health and vegan movement. In this video, I'm not talking about myself, but I'm giving you the things that I like and dislike about DurianRider, about Harley Johnstone, and I'm going to start with the thing that I like right away and then hop into the things that I dislike about him and his nutritional advice. First point that I really like about him is that he is very, very consistent with his message. You can go back on his YouTube channel like 20 years ago and he had the exact same message. Well, there have been times where he was fully raw and where he was more of a proponent for that type of eating, but he always said keep it high carb, keep it low fat, and he never really changed. Like, I personally have a preference for people that are very consistent because that's a character trait I like to cultivate for myself also. And people who I follow that I perceive as consistent are DurianRider, Professor Spira, Douglas Graham, Lauren Lockman, and also Neil Barnard, John McDougall from the whole food plant-based scene. Well, that's the first point. Second point is that he really puts an emphasis on the vegan ethics. So he does not only focus on health and on nutrition, but he always talks about ethics. He has videos where he helps animals, and yeah, he's not afraid of insects also. That's kind of funny about him. Yeah, that's the second point. The third point is his approach to nutrition is very pragmatic. So he's not as idealistic and as a purist maybe as Doug Graham or Lauren Lockman, but pragmatic, because he recommends, yeah, if you don't have ripe fruit at hand and high quality fruit, don't be afraid to add sugar to your fruit smoothies, to your fruit, to your fruit salad also. And if you live in colder climates and don't have fresh fruit, good produce available year round, don't be afraid to buy dry fruit. Don't be afraid to buy frozen fruit. Don't be afraid to buy tin fruit that has added sugar, that is in syrup usually. So that's what I really, really like about him. It's, as he likes to put it, it's a real world advice for real world people in real world situations. So I can very much relate to that point. The next point I like really about him is that he fights the sugar phobia in general in society, and that he also walks the talk. So you can see he always does what he preaches, and it seems to work very good for him. And he differentiates between sugar and fat. So, for example, if you have a sweet, if you have a candy, if you have ice cream, if you have a piece of cake, people perceive it to be high sugar, but it's both high in sugar and in fat, and that combination is horrible, especially for blood sugar regulation, and yeah, can lead to prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, while just eating high sugar, also table sugar, white sugar included, can even reverse type 2 diabetes, which has been proven by Walter Kempner in the rice diet, which has been proven by John McDougall, which has been proven by Himsworth. So there's a lot of data out there about that. What I like about him also is that he is very self-confident and he's very blunt, he's straightforward, and he is not afraid to call people out if, yeah, people do something that is not coherent in his opinion, or also the fake natties that he used to call out a lot. Yeah, he has the guts to do it, and I like it. Next point I really like about him is that he appears to be both healthy and fit. I'm sure you're aware of the distinction. Just because you are fit, it doesn't mean you are healthy, obviously. That's why lots of former athletes die in their 40s, 50s, high protein diets, kidney disease, etc., cancers. But he is on the same diet and very athletic, rides crazy miles on the bike, and does some running also, has some muscles. But there is a point with steroids I will talk about later. What I also like about him is that he has an affordable coaching program, especially in comparison to a lot of other people in this movement, in this scene. He has a Facebook group where he replies to questions, and I think you have to pay one time, it's like $30 or $50 or something like that. And other people like Lauren Lockman, where I was in his coaching program, costs like $2,000, $3,000, and you don't get any answers from him. It's basically a video course. So yeah, that's another a topic for another video. But that's what I really like about DurianRider. And I like that he is transparent about his steroid use. Well, that's an ambivalent point, and that's also where I can head to the things that I don't like about him. He's transparent about it, and he doesn't recommend it to other people. He just says that he does it for himself as an experiment. And yeah, but for me, it's not really something that a health conscious person should do, in my opinion. Well, so you have to have like the capacity to make your own judgment and to differentiate. That's also what I try to do and what I try to reflect in this video about him. Then what I do not really like about him and his nutritional advice is that I have the feeling that he could give more proof that his protocols really work, because I think that's what convinces people the most. If you see other people doing it, also what I eat in a day videos, seeing that they follow the protocol, eat the stuff that DurianRider recommends. And yeah, when he gets this comment in his YouTube videos, he always just responds with things like, yeah, you can see my girlfriend, you can see my former girlfriend, that's enough proof. But I think for someone who coaches people for that long, and yeah, for like 2 decades or something, that's at least what he says, I think he could give more proof that his diet really works as good as he always says it. The second point I don't really like about his take on nutrition is his lack of focus on vegetables, especially green leafy vegetables, and therefore also his lack of focus on micronutrients. I have to say, I also think it's important that he prioritizes the macronutrients over the micronutrients, because just judging from the words, it makes sense. But I think just eating just rice, fruit and sugar for a longer period of time, it may happen that you may be devoid of certain micronutrients, minerals, polyphenols. Fiber may also be an issue. So that's one point where I do not agree fully. And what I also see critical, that's the next point, is that he consumes carbonated drinks like Sprite and Fanta. And I don't know in how far he also recommends drinking these, but I think it's not really healthy, and me personally, I don't drink anything carbonated at all. And yeah, also his protocols include keeping the fats extremely low, like his current version is below 10 grams a day. And for me, that's a little bit contradictory to the pragmatic approach, because sometimes you cannot even eat oats, or you cannot even eat chickpeas, or you couldn't eat the tofu. And if you want a little bit of variety in your diet, then going below 10 grams is really difficult. I think for me personally, going below 30 grams is not a problem. Going below 20 grams a day, I achieve it on most days also, I think, but going below 10 days, man, it's not really realistic in my opinion, especially not long term. That's at least my experience so far. That may change. So, what I also do not like about him and his take on nutrition is the drama he had with his former girlfriend, Freely the Banana Girl. You can look it up online. I don't want to go in detail in this video about that, but I just have the impression that it questions his sanity and his emotional balance also. But everybody makes mistakes, and maybe he changed since. So, next point. Where I disagree with him is that he discredits intermittent fasting very often, and he, in my opinion, he recommends to carb the fuck up like more or less blindly and not listen to the signals of the body. And for me, that's not like really good dietary advice, because I do intermittent fasting for 2 or 3 years now. I think 3 years, and I'm not hungry in the mornings anymore, and I don't think it's metabolic damage. So I wouldn't consume anything if I don't feel like it, and that's also the tip that I want to give you. Test everything, see how you feel, and then make adjustments accordingly. So the last point I noted is that he also likes to make fun not only of intermittent fasting but also about calories in, calories out. So I think he has a point that calories are not the same regardless of the source, because they get metabolized differently in the body and because they act differently on the hormones. So he's right there, but I don't think it's the best advice for people that really want to lose weight. So I think his protocols and his diet are most suitable for people that are active, that maybe are also doing cardiovascular activity, running, jogging, climbing, or stuff like that. Because when you deplete your glycogen stores all the time, then you can use more sugar, and he recommends sugar as a staple. And I think it may be a little problematic for people that still have this dieting mindset, and they have struggle losing weight. That's at least my perspective right now. Okay, final thoughts. Right now I'm trying his protocol since a couple of weeks or months even, and I'm feeling really good. I like the pragmatic approach, as I said, and I will keep on eating this way going into next year. But I think he could be more flexible with some things, and yeah, just not deny the calories in, calories out so extremely, and add a little bit more nuance to his perspective. Alright, that's everything for this video. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and see you next time.